Hello everyone. So it is moving towards the end of January and there have been a number of new makeup products that have been released over the past couple of weeks. And so I have been thinking about all of these new products and based on their ingredient lists and the other things that I know about them, trying to decide whether they might be appropriate for those of us who have mature and dry and sensitive skin. And so first, a little bit of information about me. I am 60 years old, and so when I look at new products, I am thinking about whether or not there's the potential for them to help me to look a little bit younger and a little bit fresher. And I also for sure don't want them to be making me look worse in terms of exacerbating the wrinkles or other texture on my face. And then in addition, there are certain ingredients that I know always do irritate my sensitive skin, and I know that these ingredients tend to be really problematic for many other people as well. So I just don't talk about products with those ingredients on this channel. And so as I've been looking at the new products, I do see that there are a number of them that do include ingredients that I always do avoid. So some of those have, for instance, synthetic fragrance in them, or chemical sunscreens or sunscreen boosters, or they may have aluminum powder in them, and all of those are ingredients that I always regret if I ever buy any products with those in them. So I won't be talking about any of those products in this video. And I have gotten a few of these products already, and I am about to test them out, or I'm just now testing them out. And so if I have the containers, then I will show them to you. And one that I have ordered and that I'm about to start experimenting with is this foundation from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And this is called the Impeccable Blurring Matte Foundation, and it is $46, I think. And this one is supposed to offer medium to full coverage. It says that it's supposed to blur wrinkles and that it's supposed to be long wearing. And so I'm a little bit uncertain about that because it does say that it's a matte foundation, and so I'm a little bit concerned that it might not look great on my skin. But on the other hand, I recently tried a foundation from One Size that was supposed to be a heavier foundation, and I thought that that one actually did look nice on my skin, and I do think that if I were the kind of person that wanted to be wearing a more full coverage foundation, that that might be one that I would really like. And so I am hoping that there are some new breakthroughs in the foundation market, and that maybe there are some out there that are going to be more wearable for those of us who do have drier or more textured skin. And so I wanted to see if this one from Anastasia Beverly Hills might be one of those, especially since they are saying that it's supposed to be blurring. And this foundation has 25 shades, and this is a foundation with some cyclic silicones in that. I don't have a problem with that personally in terms of it irritating my face. I don't usually think. I think that that is more of a concern for the environment. And so if you are concerned about cyclic silicones, then this would be one to avoid. And then moving down through alphabetical order, the next product is from Armani. And this is the Armani Luminous Silk Aqua Highlighter, and it is $39, I think. And this one, I wasn't really crazy about the ingredient list for this one. I think that there are quite a few ingredients on here that I think that I might have problems with, or that I think I've had problems with potentially in certain other products that I've purchased. So I am interested in the product because there's not any no-go ingredients on there as far as I'm concerned. But I think I'd like to take a look at it at Sephora, both in terms of how it looks and what the shades are, and also in terms of trying it on just to see if my skin does get immediately irritated by it. And then Bare Minerals has a new version of their Bare Pro Matte Powder Foundation Compact, and this is $42. And what I remember is that this product was reformulated maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I remember at the time when they reformulated it, they got a lot of really negative response from people, and I'm not sure that this has ever been really as popular as some of the other Bare Minerals products have been, and so they decided to give it another go, and so I did purchase one of these, and the shade that I purchased is Fair 10 Neutral, so I'm hoping that that is not too light for me. And so it comes in this compact, and then it has this little sponge that fits in here that you can use to put it in various places on your face, or you can use a brush. And I just got this one, and so I haven't been trying this one out yet, but I'm looking forward to doing that. And in terms of the ingredients, this one is a silicone-based foundation, but it does not have any talc in it. And it is supposed to be a matte product, and it is supposed to provide up to 24 hours of breathable, full coverage and all-day oil control while reducing the look of pores. And they say that it has a brightening pineapple complex with licorice root that is supposed to brighten and refresh by supporting cell turnover, they say. And there are 35 shades. And then Bobbi Brown has a new eyebrow pencil, and this is called the Precise 24-Hour Ultra Slim Eyebrow Pencil, and it is $34. And I actually have some experience with one of the Bobbi Brown eyebrow pencils from before, and this one is called the Perfectly Defined Longwear Brow Pencil. And I thought that this was actually a pretty good product, and this one is not one of the ones that has the really skinny tip. It just has sort of a slanted tip. But despite that, this is one that I actually feel like has been pretty good for me. Or if you have ever tried the Tom Ford eyebrow pencil, I have found that this product is almost exactly the same as the old Bobbi Brown pencil, and that one has been fine for me too. And so that makes me a little bit interested in this new pencil from Bobbi Brown. Now, I think that there are an awfully lot of those little micro pencils that are out right now, and I haven't had all that much success with those pencils on my very sparse brows. I think that there's just an awful lot of area to fill in, and that those are not really the most appropriate in order to do that. And in addition, those little pencils have broken a lot for me and been very temperamental. But this new pencil from Bobbi Brown, this one seems to have a tip that's sort of in between. It's not really, really like wire thin. It's more like it has a little bit of a slant on it, and that maybe I'm thinking it's a little bit more like the regular Kosas brow pencil, the Brow Pop that I have really liked, not the nano one, but the regular one. And so I did decide to give this one a try, and one thing that I thought was really attractive about that is that they do have 12 shades, and one of the shades is called Gray Blonde. And I thought that when I looked at the pictures and when I thought about the description, I think that that is probably a good shade for me to be wearing. And so I did order that, and I am looking forward to giving that a try. And then over the past year or so, I've become a big fan of the powder products from Chanel in terms of their cheek products, either the blush products or the highlighter products, as long as they don't have fragrance in them. And they did release a new product that I did pick up, and this one is called Jeu de Lumière, which is Play of Lights. And so this is an oversized palette that supposedly can be used on either the eyes or the cheeks. And there are 4 different shades of highlighter or blush in this one. And so the shade that I think is actually really nice and that is very similar to another product that I purchased a little bit more than a year ago is this one, which is kind of like a coral shade. And then there are also 2 shades that are kind of on the gold side. There's one up here, and then this one is more shiny. And then this one is sort of like a pink shade that's sort of a little bit silvery and a little bit gold colored. And so I did swatch all 4 of these colors on the back of my hand, and they are pretty neutral on my face as well as on my hand. I think that they're moving kind of in the direction of being sort of similar to the colors that are in the Hourglass palettes. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they were inspired by those Hourglass palettes. And then this is the palette that I have that's a highlighter palette that they released last year. So this one was called Les Symboles de Chanel. And I have this one that was a lion that's getting worn because I have worn this quite a bit. And so this was a coral shade, and I think Precious Coral maybe. And so I will put some of this on the back of my hand, and so I put this down here. And it's not exactly the same color as this coral shade, but I think that it's reasonably close and that you're getting kind of the same vibe from this shade here and this one down here. And I do really like this palette so far. I do think it's really pretty. I did put that on both my cheeks and my eyes today, so you can take a look and see what you think. And then I put on a little bit of kind of a burgundy cream blush over the top of it, just to kind of coordinate with my lipstick and my sweater. Now, what I will say is that I think that this is leaning pretty warm, and so I think that it's been okay for me and my complexion, but I think that if you have a complexion that's more pink than mine, then this may not be the best palette, because it does have a lot of these gold colors in them, and I think that if you do have more of a pink complexion, then you're probably going to want to wear these more for your eyes, I would think. At least that's what I would want. And so this is supposed to be part of the spring and summer line for Chanel, and the cost for the palette is $88. And then Chantecaille has a new limited edition collection, and this is called Les Papillons, and it is based around the idea of butterflies, and so the packaging has butterflies on it, and it is supposed to be supporting some butterfly conservation with apparently just a small donation based on each purchase that is sold. And so one of the products in this line is an eyeshadow trio, and there are two different versions. One is called Nymph and one is called Diana. And so the Diana version is supposed to have luminous taupe, shimmering rose, and pearlized cream shimmer. And then the Nymph one says that it has luminous sheer copper, shimmering lilac, and golden peach with golden speckles. And when I first saw this on the Chantecaille website, I don't know that I was that impressed, but then I did see a couple of different people on YouTube try on one or both of these palettes. And so Lexi Jung did a video, and Not Fit for Print Beauty did a video. And I thought for both of those that this Nymph palette with the more warm shades, that one was especially pretty. And so even though I think that Chantecaille products tend to be quite expensive, this one is $80 for those three shades. I do think that it looks like a pretty product, and I did have some success with one of the Chantecaille products, so I purchased one of their, I think it's called a luminous eye shade in the shade Mustang, and I actually really like that eyeshadow a lot, and that was very expensive for one eyeshadow also. But I don't feel like that one's been irritating for my eyes, even when I put it directly on my eyelids without an eyelid primer down. And I do think that it has a special sort of pretty appeal to it. It's kind of a cinnamon color, and so that makes me a little bit interested in trying out some other products from Chantecaille in terms of eye products, as long as they don't have aluminum powder in them. And I think that these ingredient lists look pretty good. And so I can try on the Chantecaille products sometimes at Blue Mercury if they do have the limited editions that come there. And so I would definitely be interested in giving this a try at some point. And then also as part of this limited edition collection, they have, I think, 4 different versions of their lip sheers. And so I have picked up their lip sheers before, and these are very small little lipsticks, which I think is good in a way because they do fit into my small purse, and they do look nice on my lips sort of regardless of what I'm wearing, and they are moisturizing, but they feel a little bit special. And so even though on a cost per gram basis they are quite expensive, I think that the ones that I have actually lasted me for quite a while and been really fun to use, and I actually have been kind of motivated to keep using them. And so those are $38 each, and I might eventually buy one of those, especially if they were to go on sale. And then Charlotte Tilbury has a few new shades in a couple of their more classic products. So first of all, they have a couple of new lipstick shades. One is in the Kissing formula and one is in the Matte Revolution formula. And so the one in Matte Revolution, I think that one is called Kiss of Fortune, which is supposed to be a mauve pink. And then in the Kissing formula, they have one that is called Kiss of Mystery, which is supposed to be a tawny orange red matte. And so both of those are themed for the Lunar New Year, which is the year of the snake, and so both of those do have special packaging with a snake on them. And then in addition, for the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand, those in the past, I think there's only been like 2 shades. One was like light medium, and then the other one was supposed to be for all skin tones that were darker than that. And they have come out with 4 new shades of those, and so one is in a lighter shade that is a little bit warmer than the existing one, and then there are 3 more shades that are in the darker line. Now, personally, I don't really have any interest at all in doing any contouring of my face or of sculpting my face. And in the past, when I have looked at this product, I felt felt like the shade that they had available, that was the lighter shade, it seemed to be way too dark for me and also kind of on the gray side. But this one does say that it's supposed to be a warm and light shade, and so that does make me a little bit interested in it because I wonder how well it would work for me as a bronzer type of a product rather than a contour. So I think that I will try to take a look at that at Sephora when the product comes to the store to see how it works for me. And then at some point during the past couple of months, Dolce & Gabbana came out with several new permanent lines of lipsticks, and 2 of those do have some ingredients in them that seem problematic to me. But I did try out the matte lipsticks, and the matte lipsticks do not have any scent in them at all, and I have found these to be really terrific. So I have 2 different shades of these, and I have really liked both of the shades that I've tried. Now, one thing that is problematic about these lipsticks is that it is almost impossible for me to remember these names. So I do have one of the lipsticks that I am wearing today, and this is one is called My 25.05, which is kind of a muted red type of a lipstick that I think is working pretty well for me, actually. And then I have one that is pretty straight up brown, and this one is called My 1981. And that's what this looks like in the tube. Now, the real challenge with this lipstick line is that I don't feel like the pictures that they are providing of the lipsticks are very good at all, and I don't think that the descriptions of the lipsticks that are written are very good at all, and so it's very frustrating to try to figure out which shade you might get, and in both cases I feel like I've gotten a really different shade than I was anticipating. But I have liked both of the shades, and so I would be interested in trying some more of these. I just wish that there would be a way for me to get a better idea of what I was buying before I actually purchased it. And then M Cosmetics is an independent brand. I think that they only sell on their own website. And I have been hearing quite a bit recently about this product, which is called the Shape Shift Tubing Mascara. And so I did pick this one up, and I haven't tried it out yet. But there are several different M Cosmetic products that I also picked up. And I've only tried 1 or 2 products from them in the past, and I thought that the ones that I've tried before have been pretty good. And so hopefully very soon I will be able to try out all of these products and then do a full video on M Cosmetics in terms of what I've tried out so far. And then Fitglow is a skincare company that I do enjoy using some of their products. And so they have a new lip product that has been released to the market, and this is one of those squeezy tube lip balms. And it is called Ceramide Hydro Balm, and it is priced at $28. And they say that this is a hybrid lip serum and all-in-one with peptides, ceramides, and glutathione. Now, this one does contain vanillin in it, and so that is something that I am willing to try out in a product, but I typically don't end up using the products that I buy that have vanillin in them all that often. And so that makes me a little bit less interested in running right out to get this one. And then Glossier is promoting a new color that they are calling Black Cherry. And I do really, really like this color in terms of what I am seeing on their website. It is a sheer burgundy red, they say, and this is going to be available in their Cloud Paint Blush, their lip liners, their eyeliners, and in their balm.com. And so I do find this particular color really appealing. I wish that they would be making it available in their Ultra Lip products, because that is my favorite Glossier product of all by far. But I also do really like their lip liners, and I do have a couple of those lip liners already, and I'm actually kind of interested in getting that burgundy lip liner. I think that that could be very nice. And in terms of the balm.com, certainly there are many, many people that love that product. And so if you're one of those, then you could consider buying this particular shade. I think that that could be nice, but I don't use that product myself. I don't really like petrolatum in lip products. And that product actually has quite a few different ingredients in it, all of which I really would prefer not to use almost. And then there's also an eyeliner, and I've only tried one eyeliner from Glossier, and that did kind of irritate my eyes a little bit, so I haven't ever experimented with any others. I don't know if that could have been the color that was irritating. Maybe a different shade would have been better. I'm really not sure about that, and I don't think I would like burgundy eyeliner anyway. I think that that's kind of going out on a limb for me, but it does seem to be getting increasingly popular, putting these kinds of red shades on your eyes. And then Guerlain has two new shades, it looks like, in their Ombres G eyeshadow palettes. So one of them looks like it's sort of a Valentine's Day release, and that one is called Majestic Rose. And I don't personally recall ever seeing this Honey Amber shade on their website in the past, so I think that may be a new shade, although I haven't really heard very much about it. And I think most of the time the Guerlain most of their eyeshadow quads have been really, really bright and in colors that I think would be really problematic for many people to wear, or that I wouldn't be able to wear at all, including a lot recently of kind of red shades. And so it is nice to see these two new quads that are available that come in colors that I think a lot more people might be interested in. Now, my issue with Guerlain is that I do have one palette from them, and even though I thought that the color story that I had should have suited me, I thought that the colors were quite saturated and not really all that blendable, and so I'm not really eager to buy any more products from Guerlain again, just because I feel like they are really targeting someone that wants to wear a much brighter eyeshadow look. But I didn't have any problems in terms of the palette that I purchased being irritating to my eyes. And so if you're looking for a palette that is a little bit more on the dramatic side, then these would be ones to consider possibly. And then the other thing is that those palettes are $85, I think, and so that is really, really expensive for an eyeshadow palette, especially when I like the ones from YSL much, much more in general, and they're much less expensive. And then Haus Labs is a brand that, for the most part, I do really like. And they have a new mascara, and it is called the B Structural Volumizing and Lengthening Mascara for $29. And what they say is that this is a biotech enhanced mascara, and that it includes a vegan bee silk, which is a bioengineered polypeptide that wraps lashes in an invisible web-like matrix for soft, flexible hold and buildable volume while strengthening lashes. And so it looks to me like this is a product that is supposed to give your lashes a lot of length and maybe a lot of volume in addition to that. I'm not sure how it would go on. I personally tend to prefer tubing mascaras, and I actually don't want my lashes to look really obvious because I think that they start to look really fake. And I'm really looking for a makeup look that looks more like I just threw on a little bit of lipstick and then I'm not really wearing that much makeup. And so I'm not sure that I would like this particular mascara. And I am interested in it, though, because in general, I tend to try out almost everything that Haus Labs releases eventually, and most of it is stuff that I've liked. Now, Ilia is a company that I have really liked all of their skincare products. So far, they released several different ones in 2024. And so their newest product is called the Ilia Barrier Build Skin Protectance Cream. And this is $64, and it is unscented. And it's supposed to have a ceramide complex that replenishes the skin barrier and soothes skin. And so all of that makes it seem like this should be a product that should be ideal for me, and I have been really interested in buying things that are like barrier creams, and I certainly am looking for unscented products for my skin. Unfortunately, with this one, it does include colloidal oatmeal and oat kernel extract. And I think that my skin does not really like most products that have oatmeal in them or oat extract in them. And I would imagine that the reason for that is because in a lot of cases, non-organic oatmeal is treated with glyphosate as a pre-harvest desiccant. And so what they do is right before the product is ready to be harvested, they will go and they will spray glyphosate on the plant to kill it, so that they can harvest it a little bit earlier so that it doesn't get moldy, and that way they can grow it with more certainty in places like Canada or the upper Midwest or Europe, like Scotland. And so that is a problem for me because I do think that the glyphosate, the residues that are on the product, and there is a lot of glyphosate residues on oatmeal, that does tend to be measurable in a lot of cases. I think that my skin just doesn't like any amount of glyphosate, and so therefore I feel like the products that I have tried with the oats in them, I've tried a lot of them, I think that it tends to be the case that my skin is not entirely happy. And then this one also has some algae extract in it, and I feel like in some cases that algae is okay for me, and that other cases that it's not okay for me. And I think that algae can also be contaminated kind of sporadically, and so you kind of have to get lucky with that one, and so that's another chancy ingredient. So in general, although I like the concept of this product, and if they were using organic oats, then I would be kind of really enthusiastic about the concept. I'm a little more suspicious. So I would kind of like to try this out, but I'm not really eager to go and buy it for $64 at this point. And then Iris and Romeo has a couple of new skincare products as well. So one of these is the Lip Cocoon Hydrating Barrier Balm. So this is a lip product, and it says that it is a luxe buttery balm that provides a nourishing cocoon of comfort, while serum strength peptides visibly plump, hydrate, and support lip barrier health. And I would be interested in this product, except that I see that it is supposed to have Bulgarian rose oil in it, and I'm not sure that I even see that on the ingredient list, but they are saying that this is in the product in the description, and I think that I am slightly allergic to rose oil, and so I have decided that I'm not going to purchase any more products that have rose oil in them, so I'll probably not purchase that one, but otherwise I think it could be really good for people that don't have that kind of an allergy. And then they also have a serum which costs $58, and this is called the Skin Cocoon Barrier Repair Serum. And I think when I look at the ingredient list for that one, I think that it looks like it might be okay. I'm not seeing anything problematic in that one, and it does have some peptides in it that could be a good thing. So I would be interested in trying that one out. And then Jane Iredale is a company that in a lot of cases I do like quite a bit, and so they have a couple of new products. One of those is the Jane Iredale Lash Fixation Length and Definition Tubing Mascara for $28, and I think that that one has been okay for me. I have tried that on a number of occasions, and I think that it's actually fairly similar to, for instance, the Ceracril mascara, although the Ceracril mascara is considerably more expensive. And then the second product that I have tried recently from them is called the Color Luxe High Impact Lip Glaze for $32. So this one comes with a doe foot applicator, and it is in 7 different shades. And the moisturizing ingredients in this include jojoba oil, evening primrose oil, and sodium hyaluronate. And my experience with this one is that I purchased the one that was the brightest red color, and I feel like when I put this on my lips that it's a little bit more messy than I would like in a reddish type of a lip gloss or a lipstick type of a product, and so I think that I would have been a lot better off if I had purchased a color that was not quite so bright and that would look a little bit better if it was a little bit more on the messy side. But other than that, I think that this has been a good product, and in this case I thought that this actually tasted very nice and that it didn't have any kind of an unpleasant taste at all. And so I do feel really good about the product. I just wish that I had purchased a different shade. And then Jones Road just added a line of gel eyeliners to their website, and they did introduce one of these in one of their kits a few months ago, and I didn't hear that many people review those, but the comments that I have heard about that particular eyeliner were good, so I am looking forward to trying out the new ones that are being sold individually. And so there are 4 different shades. There is a black one, a brown one, a purple one, and one that is navy blue. And so I did pick up 2 of those. I picked up the brown one and the navy blue one. So I am looking forward to receiving those. And they also, with that eyeliner, they introduced a new little eyeliner brush that goes with it. And so I did pick up one of those as well. So look for those reviews soon. And then Kosas has a line of concealers that has been really popular, and they finally came out with a line of color correctors. And to my understanding, the formula is exactly the same, but there are 5 different shades. And so there's a really light pink one, and then there's this color, which is sort of a light peach color, which is called Illusion. And then there are 3 more shades that are a bit darker. And I am interested in trying this one out and really comparing this, for instance, to the Calorie color corrector and maybe to some of the other color correctors that I have in my collection. And one thing that I will say about this Kosas concealer formula, or now their color corrector formula, is that this one does have a chemical in it that's called phenethyl alcohol, and this is a fragrance ingredient. It's actually used in the fragrance industry in that it gives a rose note to perfumes, and it can be derived from roses, but I don't think that this is probably derived from roses. I think it's actually a laboratory version of that, and sometimes I do react to phenethyl alcohol, but I feel like in the past I've been able to tolerate the Kosas Revealer Concealer. And I would say that this has, the same level of scent to it. And so probably I should be able to tolerate this. And then Kylie Cosmetics, this is a brand that is supposed to have clean type products, and it is owned by Coty. And I'm not really a fan of the Kardashian-Jenner family at all. But on the other hand, I have had some good experiences with some of their products. And so I did decide to buy this new product from them, which is called the Kylie Cosmetics Natural Blur Powder Foundation for $36. And they are saying that this includes squalane and hydrogenated vegetable oil. And I don't see anything on the ingredient list that I feel like I really need to avoid. There is some soybean oil in it, but I don't feel like I usually have a problem with that. And this is on the Ulta website. I don't know if it's going to be in the stores or not. And then also for the new year, Laura Mercier has a product that is called the Lunar New Year Peony Edition, and this is one of their blush shades, and it is in the shade Ginger, which I think does look kind of appealing to me. I think it could be particularly appropriate for people who have lighter colored skin. And this is $37, but it's in red packaging with flowers on it, and then it has some flowers kind of sculpted into the blush, or pressed into the blush. And so I think that looks really, really gorgeous to me. And I did manage to get it on sale from, I think, Bloomingdale's. And so I am waiting for that to arrive. And I think that I've only tried this particular blush formula once. I have a really small sample of it, and I kind of did like it. It does have some talc in it, but I don't see other ingredients that really concern me. And I don't think that talc is that much of an issue for me, at least not in terms of irritating my skin. And so I thought that, especially since this color looked appealing, that I would try it out. And then a product that there actually seems to have been a lot of divisiveness about, at least on YouTube, is this new Pinpoint Concealer from Lisa Eldridge. And so this comes in a pencil that's more like an eyeliner than a typical concealer of any kind that I've seen before. And the formula also, I think, seems more like an eyeliner type of a formula than most of the concealers that I've seen. And this is supposed to be a product that you can use on a very, very tiny spot basis to cover up whatever kinds of issues you may have going on your face. And so the idea is that this is a waterproof product and that you can put it on very small amounts and then just kind of blend it in. And especially if you have things like acne, that this is supposed to be covering it up and making it all disappear. And so what I have seen so far is 2 different perspectives. One is that this is sort of a unique to the world product and that you need to use almost none of it. And so even if you use it every day, that maybe you will be able to have it last for quite a while. And then other people saying that this is a product that is so expensive, like $2,000 per ounce or something, that it is not possibly worth the price regardless, and that there are other products out there that you could use to do the same thing. And I have not used this really at all so far. I just got it And I do think that, though, when I use it on a very, very tiny spot basis, that it does really cover over any kind of little blemishes or whatever I have so that they really kind of totally disappear. And it is waterproof, so once you put this stuff down, you really are not going to be able to get it off very easily. And I think that that's kind of a nice thing to have in your arsenal, especially if you want to look really nice, and especially probably if you have acne. And I haven't had any pimples or anything since I've gotten this pencil, and so I haven't been able to try it on that. And I feel like it's so waterproof, I'm wondering if it's actually coming off when I remove it, even if I'm using the Lisa Eldridge cleanser. But in any case, I do think that there's something that is kind of unique about this product, and I do want to experiment with it a little bit more, and then to do a comparison with it against some of the other products that I use. Because I use the Jones Road pencil or the Bobbi Brown stick, the concealer stick, almost every day. And I feel like both of those have actually been doing quite a good job in terms of covering over little bits and pieces on my face on a spot basis, but it could be that this is going to be much more successful. Now, one thing that I will say about Lisa Eldridge is that she seems to have almost purposely created a lot of divisiveness in the online influencer community, because what she seems to have done is to have picked out certain people that are influencers, and to have given them not only brand trips and free products, but also to only give those people affiliate commissions and then not give the affiliate commissions to other people. And that, to my knowledge, is really, really unusual in the influencer community. I really have not seen anyone do that. Maybe in some cases there are brands where you can also link to Sephora or to Ulta, and so that doesn't matter so much, because if people talk about the product online, then there is somewhere that you can link to that you have the potential of getting a commission. But in the case of Lisa Eldridge, it is available on Space NK now, but that's really not someplace that most people are going to purchase from the US anyway. And so I think that the idea here is that if you give only some people affiliate links, that they are going to be more loyal to you and say nicer things, but then you also make some people really mad at you and feel kind of dissed. Now, it doesn't really affect me that much because I'm not at the point where I'm making a lot of money on affiliate links anyway. But I think that a lot of the divisiveness that is going on is a result of that, and that there are some people that just feel really, really good about Lisa Eldridge because she's treating them really special, and there's other people that feel really upset about the fact that they have been excluded from the special club. And so some of those people are among those who are saying kind of negative things. And I think that there's probably truth in both of those. I think that this is an extremely expensive product on a per gram basis, and I think that it might be more expensive than you would anticipate that it should be, but on the other hand, I think that it is different than the other products that are on the market. So it's an interesting thing that's going on, and I think that that, in my mind, explains a lot of why there's been so much divisiveness about it. And it seems that Lisa Eldridge is going to be having one more item that is coming out fairly soon, and that is a new eyeshadow palette. And this is called Betty, and it seems that it is named after Lisa Eldridge's cat. And this is a palette that looks like it is pretty much on the shimmery side with sort of more like pastel type colors. And it does look pretty. I haven't seen the ingredient list for that one, so I'm not sure if that one has aluminum powder in it or not. And so that will be the first thing that I check when I'm deciding whether or not I should go ahead and get that palette. Now, a brand that I have really liked in terms of hair care has been the Jennifer Aniston brand, which is called Lolavie. And so they have, in the past, just had a regular shampoo, and I have thought that that shampoo has been perfectly fine. And I have really liked all of the Lolavie products that I've tried so far. And so now they have introduced a new product that is called the Exfoliate and Detox Scalp Shampoo. And they say that this is a 2-in-1 scalp scrub and clarifying shampoo designed to eliminate impurities, flakes, and greasy buildup while nourishing hair and scalp. And that it supposedly has activated charcoals, peptides and AHAs in it. So I don't know if that would be good for my scalp or not. Maybe it would be really bad for my scalp, but maybe it could be good for my scalp. So I might be interested in trying that. And then in addition, they have a new dog shampoo that is called Puppy Love that costs $32. And so Jennifer Aniston is sort of known for being a dog lover. And I would be a little bit interested in this, but I tend not to use shampoo on my own dog. I tend to really just rinse him in regular water when he gets dirty, and then he gets washed once every 5 weeks or so when I take him to the groomer, and I don't think he needs to have any more shampoo in his hair than that. And I would be hesitant to use this one on him because it does have a fragrance in it, and it has the fragrance that she's using in her other products, which is a natural fragrance. And I actually kind of like that fragrance in terms of how it smells, and I don't think that, unlike most synthetic fragrances, that it has been irritating for me. But I still don't really feel like my dog needs to have any kind of fragrance in his hair. Of course, he is a cockapoo, so he doesn't smell bad at all unless he gets into something stinky. But in any case, I kind of think that for dog shampoos, it's probably better to use an unscented shampoo, considering how sensitive dogs are to how things smell. And when I do use a dog shampoo, the one that I use, I get on Amazon, and it's called Four-Legger. And I do think that that is a really high-quality brand, and they do have unscented versions of that. And then MAC has some new products. So I have talked before about the fact that I think that their MAC Maximal Satin Lipsticks formula, that one is really, really terrific as far as I'm concerned. And I also do like the MAC Maximal Matte Lipsticks. They have come out with a bunch of nude shades, and the shades are actually quite brown, and some of them are like leaning into being gray-brown. So they kind of went all in on this 90s trend of brown lipsticks. And I think that if you're looking for brown lipsticks, that could be a good place to look. Now, all of those lipsticks, they do have vanillin in them. They have that typical MAC scent, and so I would kind of prefer that not be the case. So I do have a number of MAC lipsticks, and I do like them, and I wear them on occasion, and especially those classic MAC shades that I can't get anywhere else and that I feel comfortable with. Sometimes I will go back to those, but in general, I tend to really lean towards lipsticks that don't have any vanillin in them, just because I would slightly prefer that myself. And then in addition, last year, Mob Beauty came out with a lip pencil that they called M1990, and it was supposed to be a recreation of the original MAC Spice, which was super popular during the 1990s. And so in addition, in this new nudes line that MAC came out with, they have one new lip liner, and this is called Cool Spice, and so I think it's supposed to be at least closer to the original MAC Spice, and so I am interested in getting a hold of that and comparing that to the Mob Beauty 1990 just to see if they actually are the same or if there's any differences. And I think it might be sold out in most places right now, but we will see what happens when it comes back into stock. And then in addition, for the Lunar New Year, which is Year of the Snake, MAC has a couple of other products that are special themes and special colors. So for the matte lipsticks, they have 3 different shades. One is called Timeless Taupe, which is a brownish nude, Luck Be a Lipstick, which is a deep red, and one that is Royal Emerald, which was a pretty dark green. And that one, it looks like it was out of stock when I checked. I don't know if that one's going to be back in or not. And then also there is a loose powder, and this is in a lavender shade, and this is the Studio Fix Pro Powder. I have never tried that before, but now that I'm looking on the MAC website, it looks like that's not a bad powder. It's non-talc. I think it's getting pretty good reviews. I'm not seeing any other ingredients in that really concern me. And I think that lavender color, that might be a really good color for me. And then Merit came out with several new blush in their Flesh Balm line. There are, I think, 4 new shades, new to the world shades, and then there is also the Bespoke shade, which is one that they made available in a holiday kit, and now you can buy that one also. And I did really like the Bespoke shade. That is actually very, very close to that Mauve 1990 lip liner color that I like so much. It's a very pretty kind of a brownish pinky type of a color, and I think that the other shades could be really nice too. I feel like for me I have just become so overrun with blush that I'm not sure I really need any more colors, and I kind of am feeling for this year that I'm going to focus more on trying formulas rather than every shade of a product, even if I really like it. But it is a nice formula. I do like it a lot, and I think that those blush shades are kind of fun to try out. And then another product from Merit that I have used pretty frequently over the past several years is the 1980 Brow Gel. And I don't know that this is my favorite brow gel on the market. I think I like, for instance, the Jones Road one more. But it has worked out pretty well. And I have heard that they have launched a new version of that product as of, I think, the beginning of December or so. So I did just get this new version of it. And so I am going to give that a try and see how it compares to the old version and to the other brow gels that I have used. And then Mob Beauty has a new 4-pan eyeshadow palette, and you can buy each of those shadows separately and put them into your own palettes if you like. So what it is called is the Grunge Core palette, and this one has 2 red shades in it. One is a cream red shade, and one is a powder red shade, and then there are 2 brownish color shades that are mushroom type shades. And in terms of eyeshadow shades, I know that red eyeshadows are very much in style right now, but I still don't see myself probably going in that direction. And I do really like those brown mushroom shades that they came out with those, so I may purchase those. Now, Makeup Forever is not a company that I have experimented with actually at all in the past, because whenever I've looked at any of the products that seem like they might be interesting to me, they always have had ingredients in them that were really problematic, and in a lot of cases it has fragrance in it, for instance. But I did notice this palette for sale at Sephora, and so I did kind of experiment with it a little bit in the store and look at the ingredient list, and I thought that it worked out really nicely for me in the store, and so I did go ahead and buy this, and I do really like it. I like it an awfully lot, and I don't think it's been irritating at all, and I think that this color combination is really attractive. And in terms of the formula, I wouldn't say that I like it as much as, for instance, the YSL Eye Quads in terms of the formula, but I do think the formula is fine, that it blends together pretty nicely and that the colors are really pretty. And I do like the fact that it has the colors on the front of the palette. I think that that is really a good thing when I'm trying to figure out which palette I am reaching for. And this palette is $32, and at Sephora there are 2 different shades, and then on the Makeup Forever website there are 2 additional shades. So this one is called Wherever Walnut, and I did like it enough that I decided to give 2 more of the palettes a try. And so the other one that is at Sephora, this one is called Anywhere Caffeine, and this one has sort of browns that are leaning a little bit on the warm side, and so I think that this one is very pretty as well. And then there is another one that is called Whatever Black, and this is more of a smoky palette, but it has some shades in it that are more like leaning green, and then there's one that's leaning kind of purple. And I feel like as smoky palettes go, that this may be one that I would be able to wear. And then in addition, on the website, there is one that is called Boundless Berry, and that one has a lot of pinks and kind of bright purples in it, purplish type colors. And so I don't think that that one would look very good on me, and so I didn't pick that one up, but I'm kind of interested in these other palettes. Now, this one that's the Whatever Black one, that one does supposedly have black number 2 in it, and I'm not sure if black number 2 is a problem for me or not. I actually purchased a eyeliner from Lisa Eldridge that had black number 2 in it, and even though that is supposed to be a problematic ingredient, some people say that this is refined to the point that the whatever toxicity is in the carbon in the coal, from the coal industry, that is refined out. So I don't know how I feel about that, but in any case, I feel like the other colors that are in this palette, other than that black color, those are pretty enough that I was thinking that I would like to give it a try. And then one company that did continue to release a few products throughout the Christmas season is Nars. And so one product that I picked up is this finishing powder that is called the Light Reflecting prismatic powder in the shade Interstellar. And so I think this has 3 different colors in it. It's sort of like a combination of a kind of a grayish blue and a grayish purple, and then a peach color. And I found that whenever I use this product, it always looked really, really good on my skin. And then I picked up this product from Nars, which is called the Afterglow Tempting Palette. And so this is a 9-pan eyeshadow palette, and it kind of leans into being purples. So it has this one lavender color in it, and then some of these other shimmery colors, they lean a tiny little bit into lavender, but there's also a lot of warmth in this palette. And so I have been actually really, really liking this palette, and I feel like it's one of the few palettes that I've been able to wear that's had kind of a lean into the purple shades, but that doesn't look really problematic on my particular skin, because I have a hard time with purples usually. And then early last year, Nars came out with a new line of reformulated talc-free blush. And I think that that is a nice formula, and it comes in a lot of different shades. And then recently they came out with 3 new shades. So one of those is in the permanent line, and that is called Teased, and that is kind of a purplish type of a color that looks like it's for darker skin tones than mine. And then there's this one, which is called Impassioned, which is kind of, again, a orchid type of a shade. And so I will swatch that here on my wrist. And so that is fairly light, but I think that it's not too light for me, and I tend to really like these lighter type shades. And then in addition, there is one that is in their special line of Valentine's products. And so it comes in this Valentine's packaging. And so this Valentine's packaging, there's the Impassioned one, this one, that one comes in this, and then there's also a second shade that's also very light that is called Cherish. And I actually really like this Cherish shade, which is kind of a peachy type of a shade. And I think that it is fairly close to the Forbidden shade from Nars, but I like it a lot better actually. So I'll swatch it next to that. So you can see that the Forbidden shade is down at the bottom here, and that this one is actually a sort of a brighter orange color. And this one is sort of more of a mellow type of an orange color, and I feel like it has just a little bit of brown in it. And so I'm feeling like that one is much more easy for me to wear. And then also in that Valentine's packaging, they have a couple of other items. So there's a quad eyeshadow in a pink type of palette that is called Sweet Kiss. And then there is a special shade of the explicit lipsticks that has not been released prior, and that one is called Only Yours. And then there is the light reflecting powder, which is just their regular white shade. I think their crystal type of shade. And then in addition, they came out with a line of new lip oils, and these are called the Nars Afterglow Sheer Hydrating Lip Oils, and they are $28. And they don't have any added scent in them, and they come in a packaging like this. And so this has a doe foot on it, and I think there are 4 shades. And so I will put a little bit of this one on, and this is the shade Far Away. And I really like this one. I think that it provides just a little bit of a glossy look to if I'm wearing a lipstick. And I think it tastes fine, and it's a little bit moisturizing. And all in all, I do think this is a nice product. And then finally, they have come out with a number of new shades in their Nars Not Light Reflecting Foundation line. And so that is $52. And it looks like there are actually 15 new shades. And so I, in particular, don't feel like I have ever really been able to find a shade from Nars that I have been really happy with. So I am wondering if maybe one of these new shades would be good for me. And then I realized when I look closely at their website that there are 5 shades that are only on the site, and I feel like one of those might be the most appropriate for me, but I'm not sure how to find that out. I do really like that foundation quite a bit. Often I mix it with a little bit of moisturizer to make it a little bit thinner, but in general I do think it works pretty well on my skin. And then Natasha Denona introduced, I think, 3 different new smaller products. for the holiday season and then right after the holidays. So one of those is called the Baby I Need a Nude Kit, and this is still on their website, but it's supposed to be like a Christmas ornament. And so this came with this little 3-pan eyeshadow kit, and I think that this is really, really pretty, and that these colors, they work really, really well on me and kind of give me the essence of the entire I Need a Nude eyeshadow palette, but in just these 3 shades. And then in addition, that came with this taupe eyeliner, and I really, really like this taupe eyeliner. I think this is a really quite lovely color on me. It's not too dark, but it's not too warm, and in general, I would be probably really sad if I can't get this one again, and I'm not sure if it's available anywhere else besides this kit. And then a second product that I have been still thinking about getting is a cream cheek product that is called the Mini Rose Cheek Ornament. So again, this is supposed to be something that was for the holiday season, but that is still available. I think it's still on the Ulta website and actually in my Ulta store. So I think next time I go there, I need to pick that up. And then in addition, they have a new all matte eyeshadow palette that has 5 different shades that is called the Mini Eye Sculpt Eyeshadow Palette for $27. And the shade names are just Fair, Light, Medium, Deep, and Black. And that one does contain some talc if you're concerned about that. I am less concerned about the talc, but I feel like those particular shades that certainly I wouldn't use that black shade, and I don't think that I would use that brown shade because it looks like it's a little too reddish for me to use as an eyeliner. So I kind of feel like that's not really the right all matte palette for me, and I would like it if she were to create some alternatives that might be more appropriate for me, or that might be more appropriate for some other people. So that would be nice if there were sort of multiple versions of that palette out there. And then in addition, I just saw on Sephora that Natasha Denona is going to be launching a line of blush and highlighter duos. So this is called the High Blush Cloudy Cream Cheek Duo. And there are going to be 6 different versions of these, and they are $42. And this is a totally different formula than what they used in that Christmas ornament. And so I think that this ingredient list is looking pretty good to me, and I would be interested in trying at least one of these. And Necessaire is a company that in general I really like, although they've been moving a little bit more towards putting synthetic fragrances in their products, which I do not like, and I can't think of them without being upset about the fact that they seem to be discontinuing their sex gel products, so I wish that they would reconsider that. But they have introduced a couple of products that I do find to be somewhat interesting. So one of those is the Necessaire Fragrance-Free Body Cream, and I think that the ingredients on that look pretty good, and so probably at some point I will pick that up. And then in addition, there is a lip balm for $25, I think. And this one says that it has niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, omega-6, omega-9, and centella asiatica extract, and then also some shea butter. And this one does have mint oil in it, but it doesn't seem to have any menthol or anything like that in it. And I kind of like a little bit of a taste of mint if it doesn't have any other ingredients in it. So I am kind of interested in this. And then next is a company called Ofra, and this is not a company that I have ever tried any of their products, and I don't know a whole lot about them, but they do have a relationship with someone who has a pretty big YouTube channel, and so they came out with 2 new products in collaboration with her. So one is an eyeshadow palette that is called the Boring Palette for $32, and this one has 4 mattes and a kind of a shimmery shade in it. And I feel like all of those shades are really not designed for me personally. They are pretty dark, and so I don't know how much use I would get out of that palette personally. This does also have talc as the first ingredient. And then in addition, they have a liquid lipstick, and that one has BHT, talc, phenoxyethanol, and unspecified flavor in it. So it's a product that I would be willing to try. But I would be really interested in hearing from you guys in terms of which particular products you would like for me to try. And I do have a list of some of the brands that I haven't tried very much in the past that I would like to do a thorough review of coming up soon. And so whatever other brands you think would be really especially interesting to you, then let me know about that so I can focus on the ones that people really are interested in. And so one of the products from 2024 that I really liked and that was one of my favorite products of the year were these Pat McGrath Dramatic Lip Pencils. And so I see on the Sephora site that they now have two different kits that have mini versions of these pencils so that you can give them a try. So these are $32 for two of the pencils, and you can either get the Divine Rose shade and Mauve Moselle, or you can get the Nude Venus shade plus the Flesh 3 shade. And I see on the Sephora site that there is a new brand that is called Range Beauty, and this one seems to be a Black-owned brand, and it seems to be really designed primarily for people that have a lot darker skin tones than I do. But what they have is a foundation that is called True Intentions that is $33. They are supposed to be clean at Sephora, and this does not have any silicones in it, but I feel like even though it's supposed to be clean at Sephora, I'm not sure I feel entirely comfortable with the entire ingredient list. And then there is a primer that has several different silicones in it, including cyclic silicones, and that is $30. And then there is a setting powder for $22. And then finally there is a Bali Face and Glow Oil, and the only ingredients in that are argan oil, mica, and vitamin E, and it has a really strong orange tint to it. And then Ravie is a brand that is from Allie Glines, who is a YouTuber, and so she has a couple of new products. One of those is called the Endless Diffusion Everyday Baked Blush. So I think that these are somewhat similar to the Kosas products, and I feel like I may be liking on my skin the Kosas products better, but I think this one is also quite nice. And I will just put a little bit of this on now since it kind of matches my sweater, and it's been a long day filming this video. And then in addition, she has a new lip gloss product out, and that is called the Ravie Lip Renewal Treatment Oil for $24. And I think that this is a particularly glossy gloss, and more like sort of a conventional old-fashioned lip gloss in terms of how it looks, but it's also a lot more moisturizing than most of the products that I've tried. And I actually do really like the way that this feels on my lips, and it supposedly includes peptides, coconut oil, castor oil, and it's made in Italy. So I feel like it's nice on my lips in terms of the moisturizing element, and in terms of how it looks. It does contain some vanillin, and so again, that is the ingredient that usually makes me a little less inclined to want to wear a product very often. And then RMS has come out with a line of 8 lip oils, and I think these are really, really fantastic. These were one of my favorite products of last year. So they are kind of similar in a lot of ways to their legendary lipsticks that they released last year and that they released this year in some nude colors. So they have 8 different shades of these, and some of them are brighter shades, and then there are some pink shades and some kind of nude shades. And there's a clear one, and they actually, I think they look really, really pretty, and they really perform really well. I think that of all the things that I could put on my lips, these are actually very good for my lips. And these do have a vanilla flavor to them, but it's actually real vanilla extract. It's not an artificial vanilla, and so I actually really, really like the taste of these. And I do think they're really pretty, and I think that they behave really well. And so I have gotten, I think, most of the shades of these, and so I think in an upcoming video I'm going to have to try on all of them, because I do think that these are well worth considering. Salt New York came out with a new blush, and it's actually called Mood Lighting, but it's in 3 different shades. So it's supposed to be light, medium, and dark, and it's supposed to be kind of a little bit of a reddish brown color, like sort of a natural type of a color. And I think that I like the Salt New York products, and so I'd be interested in trying that one out. And then Sephora Collection has a new blush palette that is $22. And there are 3 different versions, one for lighter skin, one for medium skin, and one for darker skin. Or I guess you can, or I guess it could depend on what how saturated you want your blush. But in any case, this is supposed to be talc-free. I think that the ingredients don't look too bad. But the experience that I've had with Sephora Collection is that regardless of what the ingredients look like, I tend to feel like the products don't do very well with my skin and that they tend to cause irritation, or at least that's happened to me a couple times in the past. And I know that at least some of the products in the past, the ones that I had, they were made in China. So I don't know that I really trust Sephora Collection to be making products that I really want to wear on my skin. But other than that, I think that these blush palettes look kind of nice. So I would be interested in maybe looking at them in the store, maybe trying it out. And then Tarte is a brand that when I first started to get into makeup, I tried a lot of their products. And I feel like this is a brand where all of the products were okay. Pretty much all of the products were fine. The ones that I tried that had ingredients that I thought were okay. But that none of them performed super, super well for me. And so I've kind of moved away from purchasing much from them since then. But there are a couple of products that I'm a little bit interested in. The first one is the mini Tarteless Amazon and Clay palettes. So I know that Tarte used to have a really, really popular large palette that was called Tarte and Bloom, something like that. And that one did have talc in it. And these are talc-free palettes, and they are small, so they're $25. And there is one that's the In Bloom one, which leans a little bit more pink and is a little lighter. And then there's one that's called Toasted, which has shadow colors that are a little bit darker and kind of on the brownish warm side. And so I think it would be interesting to experiment with this since it's not really expensive and since I do think it is a new formula for Tarte. It's a little bit odd that this has both real vanilla extract and vanillin in it. I'm not quite sure why people think they need to put any kind of a fragrance or a scent ingredient in an eyeshadow palette, but I don't think that that would keep me from trying it out anyway. So I'm a little interested in that. And then another lip product that is super glossy as well as super moisturizing is from the Outset, and this is called Lip Oasis. And it has squalene, shea butter, sunflower oil, lactic acid, and tripeptide 1 in it. And it is $28. And this was introduced, I think, right before Black Friday, and it sold out in a flash on Black Friday. And they have gotten it back in since then. And I did manage to get a hold of this, and I actually do really, really like this product. And I think that it really tastes good to me, even though it doesn't have any kind of a flavor or a scent ingredient in it. I do think that it feels really good on my lips. I do think it looks super, super glossy. And so if you're looking for something that is super, super glossy, then this is a really good product for that. I'm not necessarily wanting my lips to look that glossy, but it's okay if they are, I guess. And in general, I do really like this product. And then Typology has a new lip balm. This is called the Replenishing Lip Balm, and it comes in 4 different shades, and it supposedly includes some different moisturizing oils and ceramides and sodium hyaluronate. And I do really, really like Typology's lip oils. I think that they are very similar to these RMS lip oils and that they have worked well for me, and so I am interested in this product from Typology. It is $40, which I think is quite expensive, and then the refills are $30, which I still think is quite expensive. And so that makes me a little bit more hesitant, but I still do really want to try it because in general, even though the prices from Typology have gone way up, I do feel like almost all of the products that I've had from them I have really, really liked. And then Urban Decay launched a line of liquid highlighters that are called Glow Face Bond Luminizer Waterproof Glow Drops that are $34. And I think there are 8 shades total, including one of them being their iconic Space Cowboy shade. And I feel like all of these are looking maybe too glowy for me. I'm not sure about that. The other thing about these is that they are promoting them as an eye product, but I did see one video from a YouTuber named Teresa is Dead, and she tried this on her eyes, even though she was kind of suspicious about it. And she said that her eyes burned like crazy after she used this product. So I kind of feel like it would be inappropriate for use on the eyes, or at least certainly I wouldn't want to use it that way. And I feel like that is maybe not the right product for me. And then in addition, in this Face Blonde line, they have these blushes, and they are called the Face Blonde Powder Blush Suede, and they are $24. I think they are matte blushes. But from what I can tell from the pictures, it looks like they are all very, 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 very pigmented and very bright. And there's 7 different shades. And so I think that one of my New Year's resolutions has been to stop buying blush that I know is going to be too pigmented or too bright for me. And then Westman Atelier seems to have decided to lean into their petal shade. So this is kind of a pink type of a shade. And a few years ago, they did come out with a special holiday edition with several different products in that petal shade. And so now they have finally gotten around to selling them individually. So there is a new lit up highlighter stick shade that is in the petal shade, and that is described as a glassy nude rose. And I do really like those lit up highlighter sticks. I think that those are one of my favorite makeup products. So I did go ahead and purchase that. And I also have purchased a shade that is called Biscuit that is only available on the Westman Atelier website. So after I get that new petal shade in, then I will swatch all of the shades that are available in that particular product, and so you can see what the differences are. And then in addition, that petal shade is available in their Squeaky Clean lip balm now, and I do like the Squeaky Clean lip balms a lot. And then you can also get that petal shade in their lipstick, but I don't like the lipsticks because I don't like the taste of them. And I wasn't crazy about the texture in terms of how they felt on my lips either. And then finally, let's talk about YSL. And so one of the biggest releases of the winter has been the YSL Make Me Blush Powder Blush line. The interesting thing about this launch is that not all of those shades are available in every country, and it actually seems like every country is getting sort of a different mix of the blushes, and that, for instance, Korea is getting a different mix of blushes than Japan, and that the US is getting different blushes than either of those countries, and also different than Canada and different than England. And so that has been kind of frustrating for many of us who have been interested in particular shades and who haven't been able to get them in the countries that we live in. And so I have seen 12 shades so far, and in the United States there are only 7 shades, and these are available on both the Sephora website and on the YSL website. And if you go on the YSL website, there is an international section that you can look at, and so you can see almost all of the shades on that international section, but you can't buy them from the YSL website. So that is a little bit frustrating for a lot of people. So I looked at the shades that were available in the US, and I feel like all of those shades seem to be quite dark for my skin and kind of on the bright and saturated side. And when I have seen them actually being tried on by people, it does look like they actually are saturated. So in terms of what I have purchased so far, I just purchased one shade, which is called Nude Lavalier. And this is the same shade that I actually really liked in their liquid blush, so I thought that I would give it a try in terms of the powder blush. Now, that particular powder blush, from what I've seen in some different videos, that one does seem to be the most shimmery of all the blushes. So some of them are mattes, and some of them are supposed to be satin, or they have a bit of a shimmer in them. And I do think that that Nude Lavalier one does have quite a bit of a shimmer to it, and almost like an icy shimmer. So if that is not what you're looking for, then that is probably not the right shade to purchase. But the shades that I would really like to get, there is one that is called Rose Haze, and that is kind of a rose type color, maybe a little bit of a peachy rose type color, and I think that that one looks really beautiful. And then another shade that's not available in the US is called Nocturnal Nude. And I am really liking the way that that one is looking from what I've seen. And there's one that's called Coral Clash. And that one looks like it might be more saturated, but I still think it might be more suited to my coloring or to the kind of blush that I like to wear. So I'm a little bit interested in that one also. And then there's a couple more shades that I think are probably too light for me. So one of those is the Suave Sunstone, which is, I think, looks very similar based on the swatching that I saw in this Korean influencer's YouTube video. It looks like that one is very similar to the Nars Sex Appeal, which is almost exactly the same color as my skin. And so I think that for me, that would probably not be the right shade to buy because I don't think that it really shows up on my skin at all. And I think that for some people that have lighter skin than I do, that can look like a really muted natural blush. And so it really depends on what you're looking for. And then on that Korean influencer's video, I also saw a shade that's called Lavender Lust. And this one has just a tiny little bit of hint of lavender in it, but it more looks like it's straight up white. And she said that when she put it on her skin, that it actually was making the skin look more white rather than more like a highlighter, and that there was very little actual purple color that seemed to be coming across. And her skin was not the lightest possible skin that I've ever seen, but I do think it was a little bit lighter than mine. And she said that she was not able to use this as a blush or a highlighter at all, and that she was really only able to use it as like a light dusting of a finishing powder. And so just as I was finishing up this video, and it's starting to get dark pretty soon, I did get this YSL blush that I ordered through UPS from Sephora. And so this is the Nude Lavalier shade. And so I will swatch that on the back of my hand and then take a look at it. And so this is supposed to be the most shimmery version of this blush, and I don't think it's super shimmery, but there's definitely more of a shimmer than some blushes that are more on the matte side. And I think that this is not a bad color for me. I think I can probably do okay with that color. And so I will just try to put on a little tiny bit of it now, and we'll see how it looks. And I think this could be really pretty, actually. I think that I'm kind of liking it. Now this blush does have talc in it as one of the main ingredients, and so that would not be something that everyone would want to be using. But I think that so far I'm kind of liking it. So I hope that they come out with some of those more muted shades because I still think that those might be better for me. And then another product from YSL that was just released that I did pick up is this eyeshadow quad. And so this is labeled on the back as being a number 125. And it says on the package that the name of it is Blooming Lust. And so these are colors that are sort of pink, but they're leaning a little bit more purple. And so I thought that this would be a fun thing to pick up as kind of a Valentine's Day release. And this does have these little hearts on it, but the hearts are more like they are just written on there. They're not actually stamped into there. So I wanted to be sure that I got a good picture of this on camera before I actually started to swatch it or to use it. And this comes in packaging that is a little bit different than their usual packaging. So here is what most of their eyeshadow palettes come in. So this is a black pseudo leather on the top here. And on this one, what we have is a sort of a rainbow color moving from blue to pink. And when I saw this particular mix of colors, it did remind me quite a bit of another eyeshadow quad that YSL released as part of their initial launch. And that one is number 400, and that one is called Babylon Roses. And so I do have that one also, so I will put these right next to one another, and so you can take a look and see if you think that they are similar. And I do think that some of these shades do look similar, and then there's a little bit of difference in it, and then I can swatch them next to one another. And with the Babylon Roses one, this is one that I was a little bit hesitant to try because I don't feel like I tend to do all that well with pinks and purples. But then I actually did try that in Sephora, and I thought that it looked really, really good on me, and so I did pick that one up also. So I think what I will do now is just to take the new palette, and I will see if And all I had to do is just rub my finger on here, and that writing on there just comes right off. So it's not even embossed into there. It's just like someone took a pen and wrote it on there. And so if I compare this to the Babylon Roses palette, what I would say is that the Babylon Roses palette has two of those topper shades that are sort of like pink and very sheer and quite glittery, whereas the new palette has only one of those topper shades. But oddly, I think that the two topper shades that are in the Babylon Roses palette, even though they look a little bit different when they're actually in the pan, when I put them on my arm, they actually look almost exactly the same. So I'm not sure why they decided to put two different ones in there. And I think that those do not look different at all from the one that is in the new palette. And then I think that these two burgundy shades, the one in the new palette and the one in the Babylon Roses palette, that looks almost exactly identical to me. I don't see much difference in those shades on my arm. And then there are two shades that are fairly pigmented that are at the bottom of each of these groups. And I would say that those are somewhat similar, but that the one from the Babylon Roses quad, that one is leaning more into being like a taupey pinkish color, and that the one from the new palette is leaning more into being like a corally pink type of a color. And then the new palette has a shade in it that's more like I guess what we would call a transition shade, that's just more like a straight up taupe with maybe just a tiny little bit of a pinkishness in it, and that is not real pigmented. So all in all, I was able to wear the Babylon Roses palette really well. And the thing about these YSL eyeshadows is that they just blend so easily that it is very easy to make them look really nice. And it has never been the case with these palettes that I have put on the eyeshadow and then been so frustrated that I wasn't able to make it work for me because of this blendability factor. And it seems to me that the new palette that I just picked up, that one is just as blendable, and so I am really looking forward to wearing that one, and I will do that in a video soon. So thank you very much for watching all the way to the end of the video, and I would be interested in hearing from you which of these new releases you might be interested in getting yourself or hearing me talk about on this channel. And in addition, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, then please go ahead and do that. And if you like this video, then please do hit like, because supposedly that does help the algorithm. And I hope you are having a good winter so far, and Coco and I love you very much. Goodbye. La ba da la 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 boom boom.